From the hangar in Lancaster, California, I'm Jacobo.
And I'm Ryan. This week in our city, the grand opening of the AV Rural Museum, the Social Equity Commission's Black Futures Breakfast, this year's AV Edge Spring Business Summit, a highlight of National Engineers Week, and a high desert weather update.
The Tide Crew celebrates Random Act of Kindness Day, a look inside the MOAH CEDAR's Andrew Frieder Creative Space, the history of Lancaster Performing Arts Center, and La Familia Tattoo Studios, who make your body art dreams a reality.
The Antelope Valley Rural Museum celebrated its grand opening on Saturday, March 4th, with a ribbon-cutting ceremony at the Antelope Valley Fairgrounds, the location of its new permanent home. The museum was established with the purpose of preserving the rich rural history of the Antelope Valley and has worked hard to collect, preserve, restore, and research facts and artifacts pertinent to the history of the AV. The items on display cover a timeline of our region, which was made possible through painstaking research and organization by members of the museum. In attendance at the grand opening of the museum was LA County Supervisor Catherine Barger, who as the guest of honor, set off the festivities and cut the ceremonial ribbon. Barger was joined by officials from the cities of Lancaster and Palmdale and representatives from the offices of Assemblyman Tom Lackey and Congressman Mike Garcia. L28 caught up with Councilmember Ken Mann and Vice Mayor Marvin Christ from the city of Lancaster. They spoke with us about the importance of the AV Rural Museum and shared which items on display had the greatest impact on them. Let's hear what they had to say.
So this is the new home, permanent home of the Rural Museum, and exciting. This is an opportunity for the community to come together and celebrate. And obviously we've got all the heritage of the Antelope Valley all within four walls. So when people came to the Antelope Valley, typically they were in the farming, and that kind of, you know, the valley's evolved. Obviously there's been aerospace added and whatnot, but anybody that would now come to the Antelope Valley and want to know about where the roots were started at, this would be a great way to learn the history of the involvement of the Antelope Valley.
Yeah, and that's beautifully stated. Like they were saying, it's from arrowheads to aerospace, right? So you can kind of see that progression. So what about for you personally? Is there an item or something here that you are taking a liking to?
My favorite part is over on the back. If you go in the back room, I'm sure there's probably a name for it, but it's got all the history of all the schools. And it's neat to see all the schools that originated here, and it's got the rich history going through the years. And so that's probably one of my favorite parts.
We're opening the Rural Museum. It's a collection of all the artifacts from all over the Antelope Valley for the last 100 years. There's trucks, there's tractors, there's old drive-in movie theater stuff, there's yearbooks, there's everything that you could possibly think of. This is where you need to bring your children to show what the Antelope Valley is all about.
Absolutely. And how important do you think it is to preserve Antelope Valley's history?
Well, I think it's very, very important. It tells what we're about. And if you look in here, you can show how we can get along and how we have got along in the past and how important it is for a community to get along. I like the whole thing. The tractors are what I like the best. It's a guy thing, but I like the tractors. But it's one of those things where you come in here, you will find you can spend all day here.
Notable displays at the museum include restored antique vehicles, tractors, trailers, and other farming equipment, which pays homage to the Antelope Valley's agricultural history. The exhibits also include Native American artifacts, photos, equipment, and memorabilia of the Southern Pacific Railroad, and other items depicting early life in Lancaster. The Wartime in the AV exhibit honors the brave men from the Antelope Valley who fought in World War I. On display are their personal effects, including uniforms, medals, photographs, and equipment from the time. The museum also features a display of 7,000 dog tags in memory of the servicemen and women who were killed in the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. Each dog tag has a photo of the veteran, their name, rank, service, age, and date of death. The museum also showcases significant artifacts and memorabilia from historic moments, innovations, and accomplishments in the fields of aviation and aerospace, a rich part of the Antelope Valley's history. The museum's motto, "From arrowheads to aerospace," perfectly captures the diversity of the exhibits. Our L28 correspondent spoke with Bill Rawlings, the finance officer of the museum, and he gave us a greater understanding of the hard work and dedication that it took to make this AV Rural Museum a reality.
So, Bill, can you tell me about the wall we're standing behind right here?
This is our donor wall, and we're standing in front of the section regarding the Pickus Challenge. So David and Lucy Pickus gave us a $1,000 donation in 2012, and they challenged all businesses and people to match that donation. So each year, that's our little fundraiser, is the Pickus Challenge or Pick Us Challenge. But David and Lucy Pickus, they're still here today. Anyway, so that's our pet project, and these are the donors from each year. There's no saying how much they gave. Catherine Barger initially gave us $100,000, and then and that gave her naming rights to our library. But then she bumped it up to another 200,000, and that's why she was our big speaker. So that's $300,000 right there of community support. From the county.
Beautiful.
City of Lancaster, they donated $100,000. So
City of Lancaster.
these guys really, I can't say enough. This is our biggest really individual donor. The personal money. I mean, Kyle and Kyle Ranches.
Definitely invested, huh?
Julie Kyle, she's here today. And they're so generous.
I love it. And if anyone did want to maybe get involved or donate or anything, how can they do that?
Okay, so you can go to our website, avmuseum.org, and go to the donate, and you can use credit card or PayPal. And we love donations. Or you can write us a check, mail it to our P.O. box. That address is also on our website, unless you want me to give it to you now. 1316 Lancaster.
I love it.
93584. Trust donors are most welcome. $100,000 will get you right here.
So let's get some Rust donors at $100,000. If you're interested, visit the avmuseum.org. Bill, thank you so much for your time and for all of the energy and effort and camaraderie that you've put in order to build this museum from the ground up. Thank you.
The museum is open on the first and third Saturdays of every month from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Admission is free, and donations of any size are welcome and tax deductible. To learn more about the ways to support the museum, visit their website at avmuseum.org.
So Ryan, I know you had a chance to check out the AV Rural Museum for yourself. What was your favorite exhibit that they had on display at the time?
I'm glad you asked. They had so much cool stuff. I mean, they even had fossils from like 10,000 years ago from the era of the Ice Age, right? So their motto, "From arrowheads to aerospace,"
It's actually legit.
Yeah, it really describes the museum. So that was really cool. But personally, I love the timeline that they did. They have probably wrapped across 2 or 3 walls of the museum. They have a painted timeline with graphics and photos detailing all the major accomplishments, innovations, inventions that happened right here in the Antelope Valley. So it was really cool to look back as early as like the late 1800s all the way to the early thousands with innovations in aerospace and, the shuttles, Columbia, and really seeing like our history from point A to point Z. So that was really neat.
That sounds super cool and unique because that makes it easy for anybody, right? To like tag along to history and see what happened from the beginning to where we are today.
Exactly. It's informative, but it's also easy to digest. So I love that.
Cool. This year, the city of Lancaster joined people from across the country in celebrating National Engineers Week, which commenced on Sunday, February 19th and was recognized all week long through Saturday, the 25th. This year's theme was Creating for the Future, and recognized how engineers actively play a key role in not only creating innovative solutions for the Earth's list of global challenges, but also generating long-term positive impact for future generations to come. By working together to develop new technologies, products, and opportunities, engineers are at the forefront of possibility, making the world a better place one innovation at a time. While you may not even realize it, the world as we know it might not exist without life-changing efforts of engineers. Often taken for granted, the fruits of engineering are all around us, from the roads we drive on a daily basis to the bridges we cross and the cars, planes, and boats we use to get virtually anywhere on the planet. None of this would be possible without the work of aspiring and dedicated engineers. The ingenuity of engineering ultimately allows our lives to be easier and safer in a number of different ways. Initiated by the National Society of Professional Engineers in 1951, National Engineers Week is an annual celebration to honor the significant role engineers play in modern-day society. It is celebrated every year in February to coincide with the birthday of former President George Washington, who is considered the first engineer in the United States due to his surveying work and invention of the drill plow. President Washington was also a strong supporter of engineering and scientific advancement during his time in administration. This week of recognition provides an opportunity for engineers from various industries to showcase their projects and achievements, which is important in encouraging the future generation of engineers to enter the field. It is also a time to promote the importance of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education while raising awareness of the value of pursuing a career in these fields. Local schools frequently collaborate with engineers to provide students with hands-on experience and inspire them to consider a career in STEM. An example is nearby Fulton and Osbury Academy of the Arts and Engineering, which has been setting educational standards with its highly distinctive educational programs. The campus offers students a wide variety of dedicated after-school programs, including most notably a robotics program that recently won a California State Championship, as well as attending the World Championships in 2017. National Engineers Week is an annual celebration that continues to recognize the significant contributions of engineers in our society and promotes STEM education, inspiring the next generation of innovators to create the future.
On February 25th, the City of Lancaster's Social Equity Commission, in partnership with Justice Sunday, Future Leaders California, and the Black Student Union, hosted the first Black Futures Breakfast in the community building at Jane Reynolds Park. The event, which was held in honor of Black History Month, focused on educating and encouraging Black future leaders by building on the experiences and accomplishments of those who came before them. The event was a huge success, with many leaders from the community in attendance, such as Bishop Henry Hearns, who, along with serving the community as a Baptist minister for decades, also served 4 consecutive terms on the Lancaster City Council from 1990 through 2008, and later served as vice mayor and mayor of Lancaster for 2 terms. Also in attendance were other public officials, including District Director for Senator Scott Wilk, Donna Hill, and Deputy Mayor Sean Cannon. The event was opened by a message and prayer by Bishop Hearns, followed by performances by the Highland High School Choir, speeches by alumni members of Justice Sunday, and poetry readings by local student Shayla Tampa. Members of the community, including students from local high schools, had the opportunity to ask their questions to a panel of speakers, gaining valuable insights and knowledge about the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. The panel of speakers included Justice Sunday alumni, District Director Donna Hill, Chair of the Equity Commission Giovanni Pope, and Councilmember Daryl Doris, amongst others. The panelists shared their inspiring stories of their own journeys and discussed the challenges that they faced as they pursued their goals. They also shared their thoughts on what it takes to be a successful leader, emphasizing the importance of hard work, individuality, perseverance, and a commitment to service. After the event, L28 caught up with many of the local leaders responsible for putting this event together. From Jane Reynolds Park, here's our L28 correspondent with more. Giovanni, can you tell us a little bit about the Breakfast for Black Futures that just happened right now, and what was the motivation for this event?
Absolutely. So, as a city government, we want to do everything in our power to make sure that folks in our community feel recognized and represented. We have such a diverse array of talent here in this community, and we have such a rich history in this community as well. This city was one of the first cities to work to send people off to space. So, we have so many incredible and distinguished leaders in this community, and all of our students need to know those leaders. And so we put this breakfast together because we wanted to make sure that all of our students knew that they come from a long legacy and lineage of distinguished and powerful leaders.
Well said. And I noticed that you guys had a panel today, and I thought that was a really neat idea to embark some wisdom on the future generation of leaders. And as you mentioned, a big theme of this event was mentorship. Modeling yourself after those leaders in our community that we can learn from and kind of stand on their shoulders, per se. Can you tell me a little bit about some of those people on the panel today?
Absolutely. So first we had Bishop and Council Member Daryl Doris, who has been a personal mentor of mine and worked to make sure that I have opportunities in government. And so we really wanted to make sure that his perspective was shared with the rest of our community members and with our students because he has so much knowledge to impart on exactly how he got into government. One of the things that I have mentioned inside is that there are a lot of fields that have to do with technology or have to do with government. And many Black and Brown folks are locked out of those industries because they don't have opportunities or mentors to help them get down those roads of success. And so for this panel, we wanted it to be an equalizer between community members and students, as well as community leaders, to make sure that all of them had information about how we can best take Black futures forward.
And it really was awesome to hear a lot of the words of encouragement that these leaders had to say, a lot of the advice from personal experience. One of the things that you said, and I'm going to kind of paraphrase you a little bit, is that it's important to have mentorship and models, role models in a way, but you also specified the importance of breaking the mold and not losing who you are as an individual. Can you tell our viewers a little bit more about that sentiment that you shared with everybody?
Absolutely. So, as many folks in this community know, I am the youngest ever commissioner in the city of Lancaster and the youngest ever city commission chair. And so, what that means is that we have diversified leadership enough to make sure that there is representation for everyone. And I feel that even with the attitudes that this community sometimes has towards things that are different, we wanted to make sure that folks knew that they didn't have to change themselves or fit a mold in order to be recognized and in order to have influence. Because if you are just doing the cookie cutter version of what someone else is doing, you're not going to achieve success. It's just not attainable, and there are too many people that are doing what you're doing. You need to separate yourself. And so that's what this was about.
I love that. And I think a big message, big sentiment shared by you and a message from the panel was be unapologetically yourself.
Yes.
And that was really beautiful. Why do you think it's important for the city of Lancaster to keep investing in events just like this to honor Black history and also promote Black futures?
Like I said, we have an incredibly strong community heritage here, but we need to make sure we're doing more to highlight it. That's the number one thing. Representation matters so much, and we have such a diverse array of leaders in this community that are doing so much. And we need to make sure that every single person on the east side, on the west side, and in all of our neighborhoods knows about the impact that all of these leaders are making and how much impact each of our community members and students could make as well. So one of the things that I really want to do with this commission is make sure that we are on the ground as representatives for the city of Lancaster as much as humanly possible. We want to make sure that people are actually connected with their government and understand how government works. That's why I have partnered with many of the schools in our district to talk about the work that I do as a commissioner and as a commission chair and how many students can take part in that work as well. I also want to do work to strengthen our families and our city's livability because we want to make sure that with strong neighborhoods and with strong neighborhoods having strong infrastructure, that there are also leaders that are serving in those communities that are bringing out the best in those communities. So what the Social Equity Commission wants to do is we want to go into each of those communities, figure out exactly where we can make an impact, sit down with those community leaders in those areas, and actually assess how we can do some real good in many of these communities.
To sit on the panel with like-minded people and people who share similar experiences that I could consider to be my mentors was like an irreplaceable experience. Ms. Donna Hill, who I met a couple years back, to sit directly beside her and get to share similar stories to her about her experiences as a Black woman pursuing a position of power that she does hold, and then to now hold a similar position, um, just kind of reaffirmed the path that I've been on for these last couple years, and that there's no reason that I shouldn't be here.
So we're here celebrating the state of Black futures and celebrating our young Black student union and all of the work they do to better our community. And it's another way to honor Black history, because you can't really honor Black history without acknowledging Black futures. And we have young people here who are a part of Justice Sunday, which was celebrating where we've come from, right? And this is about passing a baton to the next generation of commerce, the next generation of social justice, the next generation of faith leaders. And that's what we had in the room tonight. And what's so important, what's needed, not just with Black individuals or Black students, but with students everywhere, is mentorship. I wouldn't be where I am today without mentorship. Martin Luther King Jr. wouldn't have been what he was without mentorship. Jesse Jackson, Barack Obama, so on and so forth. And so the Black history is influencing the Black future right here in Lancaster and all across the country.
Jeff, can you tell me a little bit about the Breakfast for Black Futures event and how the BSU got involved to help make this come together?
Well, this was an event to celebrate the young people of our district who have been given an opportunity to seek out leadership positions and expand their post-secondary access opportunities. Brother Nigel Holly and Giovanni Pope reached out to me as a council president to get our Black Student Union clubs involved. And so we had several advisors and students come out to represent. And we're looking forward to building this partnership with the city, our district, and our other BSU sites to get more students out for next year's event.
And I noticed that some of those BSU students got recognized here today. Could you tell us a little bit about what that recognition was about?
Well, the recognition is about the hard work that we've been putting in for the year. We wrote a proposal to our district for several events related to Black students in the BSU. We took a football trip to UCLA for the HBCU game versus Alabama State. It was the first HBCU school to play in the Rose Bowl. We took them on the HBCU tour down to Alabama and Tuskegee and Morehouse. You see my Morehouse hat on. And so we just finished up our Knowledge Bowl in February. So there's several activities that really highlight academic excellence among our Black students.
The Black Futures Breakfast that we had today is just, it's all about representation. It's all about making sure that we're encouraging our youth, but also highlighting and showing them a path to success that they can take, right? Because there isn't just one path, there's multiple paths. So just showing them the blueprints that other people have taken to reach the heights that they're at now.
The Black Futures Breakfast was a shining example of how communities can come together to celebrate diversity and promote social equity. It showcased the City of Lancaster's commitment to empowering its citizens and promoting the growth and development of future Black leaders.
You know, I think it's really great that Lancaster is putting on events such as these and promoting social equity and just diversity as a whole is something I think all cities should mimic moving forward.
Absolutely. And I mean, we saw that generation of high school students. They're about to enter that critical age of, higher education, entering the workforce. So what better time to, get inspiration and get knowledge and guidance and even mentorship from those who kind of paved the way before you.
Yeah, I mean, they have their whole lives ahead of them, right? So they're kind of setting them up for success and whatever future endeavors they choose to take.
Yeah, and the City of Lancaster is there to support the whole way. Don't go anywhere. When we return from the break, we'll be covering the recent unprecedented weather systems that have been hitting Lancaster, as well as the Antelope Valley Economic Development and Growth Enterprise, AV-EDGE.
Welcome back to L28. This next segment, we'll be focusing on the region's recent storm systems which have brought sudden snow to the local area, as well as this year's AV-EDGE, an economic forecast and discussion which took place at the AV Fairgrounds. When thinking of the climate in Lancaster or even the greater Los Angeles County area, some of the first things that come to mind are clear blue skies and warm, inviting temperatures. But however, this past winter season has been anything but that, as we've set new record lows in temperatures, bringing rain, hail, and even snow to the local areas. Although Lancaster is no stranger to frigid temperatures, who could have predicted the blizzards and extreme winter weather that quickly took over the SoCal region this last month of February? Local residents were surprised with snow, hail, rain, and bone-chilling freezing temperatures as Californians joined the more than 20 million Americans who experienced similar winter storm conditions. The National Weather Service announced that beginning on Wednesday, February 23rd through Sunday the 26th, residents living in higher elevation or in the hills of Los Angeles and Ventura County were advised to travel for emergency purposes only, as the area started to generate extremely strong gusts of wind, which reached up to 75 miles per hour and produced a torrential downpour of heavy snow. These conditions made it extremely difficult to safely travel on the roads and freeways due to the lack of visibility. By the time the storms had passed, citizens of Lancaster and the greater Antelope Valley area were met with what looked to be a winter wonderland, as both the Tehachapi Mountains to the north, as well as the rolling hills of Acton to the south, were fully blanketed by a fresh layer of white snow. And although locals were excited to get a chance to see the snow, the likes of which haven't been seen since winter of 2019, the harsh reality quickly set in as the projected blizzard and winter storm warnings brought about a destructive amount of rainfall, which left many drivers stranded on the roads and freeways, where hazardous driving conditions caused doubts in anyone brave enough to venture out of their home. While the weather this winter season was particularly uncharacteristic of the Southern California region, forecasters believe that this extreme weather event was caused by freezing cold air from the north in combination with an atmospheric river, which we have seen most recently in December, a month that saw an exponential amount of rainfall recorded in the Golden State. To be prepared for more projected storms at the tail end of this winter season, it's important to take the vital precautions necessary to protect not only yourself, but also your friends and loved ones from the harsh winter conditions. To view a full list of tips on how to stay safe and warm during the winter months, you can follow the City of Lancaster on Instagram at City of Lancaster CA for more.
The Antelope Valley Economic Development and Growth Enterprise, or AV EDGE, hosted its annual Spring Business Summit on Friday, February 24th at the AV Fair and Event Center in Lancaster. The event brought together business leaders, policymakers, and community members to discuss current economic trends and strategies for growth and success. The summit was emceed by Jeff Michael, an award-winning journalist who has been reporting for channels CBS 2, KCAL 9, and Fox 11 in Los Angeles for 3 decades. This year's keynote speaker was Steve Forbes, chairman and editor-in-chief of Forbes Media, and an acclaimed entrepreneur and author. Forbes addressed the current economic situation in the United States and provided insights and strategic advice for business growth and success in today's challenging times. The event featured an in-depth panel discussion which sat regional leaders, including LA County Supervisor Catherine Barger, Kern County Supervisor Zach Scrivener, Lancaster Councilmember Darrell Doris, and Mayor Pro Tem of Palmdale, Andrea Alarcon. They gave attendees a regional update on issues specific to Kern County, Los Angeles County, and the cities of Lancaster and Palmdale. Mayor of Lancaster, R.X. Paris, gave an inspiring update on economic developments, special community events, public safety, and the future of the city of Lancaster. Lancaster has already positioned itself as a center for renewable energy development, including leading the way in clean hydrogen power. When speaking about Lancaster's latest developments in hydrogen production, Mayor Paris had this to say: "Hydrogen, without question, is going to replace fossil fuels. Washington has told us they're converting the nation to hydrogen. We're first in line," he said. In Lancaster, we stopped asking what should we do, and we started asking what could we do. It makes all the difference in the world. Vice Mayor of Lancaster, Marvin Christ, was awarded the 2023 Navigating Change Award by AV EDGE for his exemplary leadership through community service while meeting the changing circumstances of challenges in the Antelope Valley. Dr. Robert Eiler, author of 2 books and professor of economics at Sonoma State University, returned to AV EDGE this year to share his professional insights and the current economic outlook, with an in-depth analysis of regional, state, and national data. There was also a comprehensive overview of the commercial and residential real estate markets by Sefi Toneman of Coldwell Banker Commercial and Cheyenne Terraciano of Remax All Pro, which provided valuable information to businesses looking to invest in our region. According to AV EDGE, their mission is to attract and maintain diverse business opportunities that ensure the economic growth and development of the entire Antelope Valley. By building partnerships, advocating for legislation, and promoting education, they hope to inspire all businesses and industries, whether local, regional, or global, to engage and cultivate the countless opportunities that the AV has to offer. The Spring Business Summit was a valuable opportunity for businesses and community members to come together and share ideas for growth and success. AV Edge is a tremendous resource for businesses in the Antelope Valley and beyond. For all event information, including sponsorship opportunities and detailed ticket information for future events, visit avedgeca.org. Hearing from Steve Forbes, it was really interesting to hear his decades of experience on economics and how he was able to kind of give advice and help small businesses navigate the current terrain. He gave, valuable information that really you just had to be there to get. So it was really a great event. And honestly, if you haven't been before, stay tuned, visit AV Edge for future events, especially if you're a small business. They've got valuable data that helps anybody, regardless of whether you're in finance, real estate, you work at a nail salon. I mean, it can help anybody kind of strategize and prepare for the future, for future growth.
Speaking of AV Edge, what would you say was your favorite either speaker or moment of the whole entire event?
I think it was really neat having the panel discussion. We had leaders from all over the region. So not only did we have Councilmember Daryl Doris representing Lancaster, we had city officials from Palmdale, but we also had members from Kern County and LA County Supervisor Catherine Barger. So it really gave like a really cool oversight of our northern LA County issues and even beyond a little bit into Kern County, which also affects, a lot of people that work in that area from here.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to have them do that panel discussion and really kind of answer the public's questions and concerns.
Awesome.
When we return from the break, L28 will be covering Lancaster's team of illegal dump eliminators, the Tide Crew.
Thank you for tuning in to L28. The team will now be taking a closer look at the individuals who continue to beautify the city one project at a time, as well as one of Lancaster's spots for body art, La Familia Tattoo Studios. Throughout our beloved city of Lancaster, there are countless organizations that aim to uplift and beautify the community one project at a time. But one of the unsung heroes that stands out amongst the rest is the City of Lancaster's Tide Crew, or the team of illegal dump eliminators. With a foundation dating back only 3 years to the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, their mission has been to eliminate illegal littering, dumping, and any graffiti in the community. What most individuals may not realize is that illegal dumping poses a serious threat for the environment of local wildlife, as well as negative impacts on the local community members that call Lancaster home. When somebody chooses to illegally dump, they are single-handedly contributing to toxic waste buildup that can be found at several locations in and around the city. This can ultimately lead to soil and water contamination, which can cause health issues for animals and humans alike. Another significant health issue that waste buildup poses to residents is the likelihood of dump sites and surrounding areas becoming a breeding ground for unwanted insects. This can include mosquitoes and flies, who multiply quickly in the stagnant water of waste tires, for example. This list also includes skunks and opossums, which can carry diseases including yellow fever, malaria, and encephalitis. Illegally dumped sharp materials like nails or similar objects can also cause harm, along with the risk of coming into contact with chemicals, fluids, or dust that can be harmful to inhale. That's why the Tide Crew has stayed true to their ongoing mission by making strides in the cleaning up of illegal dumping and graffiti in Lancaster. Having already cleaned nearly 5,800 sites, the Tide Crew has dedicated over 7,000 staff hours on beautification projects around the city of Lancaster. And as for graffiti, they have so far eliminated and painted a staggering 2,500,000 square feet of vandalized surfaces with over 2,600 total hours in covering up illegal spray paintings and defacements. With all that time spent upkeeping and restoring our city, their hard work has not gone unnoticed. Back in 2021, the Tide Crew was awarded the APWA SoCal Chapter's Creative and Innovation Best Award. This award recognizes individuals, groups, and chapters who represent the best in public works all over the nation. The Tide Crew is a testament to the power of community activism and the impact that a dedicated group of individuals can make in their own community. Equally as important is their ability to promote civic pride and reminding others that when you look good, you feel good. When a community is plagued by illegal dumping and graffiti, it can dampen the residents' pride in where they come from. The Tide Crew's efforts have created a safe and clean environment for residents to live in. So if you notice illegal dumping in your area, you can visit the Tide Crew's page today on the City of Lancaster's website and make a report. Or simply download the Inform Lancaster app on your phone or tablet and easily submit your request. The Tide Crew is a shining example of the positive impact that activism can have on a community by making Lancaster a better place to live, one cleanup at a time.
What inspiring work that the Tide Crew really is taking on in the Lancaster. We had Brian C. Mantle in here, who was the lead of the Tide Crew. He came by and spoke with our team recently, and it was really inspiring to hear that, this work is really driven by a labor of love. They're residents of our city, so they're, beautifying it is also, where they sleep. It's where they live, right? So it's a beautiful thing that there's a passion behind this project.
No, like you said, he seemed very passionate and very engaged with the project. Like, he was happy to clean up the city, and like I said, it promotes civic pride. It makes you proud of where you come from. 100%. So I think every time you see maybe a defacement or graffiti or illegal dumping, maybe make a report and make your community a little bit cleaner and a little bit nicer for everyone, and not only yourself.
Yeah, it's that old, if you see something, say something, right?
Exactly.
The phenomenon of permanently decorating the body has been around for centuries, with the earliest interpretation of tattoos being found in tombs in Japan way back to 5000 BCE. The earliest actual tattoo was discovered on Otzi the Iceman, who was from around 3300 BC, and whose mummified skin showed that he had a total of 57 tattoos, all presumably made with soot. His tattoos appeared to be in points on the body that today would be used to treat various diseases and even illnesses, leading scientists to believe that his tattoos could have been an early form of acupuncture. Although tattoo art dates back centuries, the art form didn't gain popularity amongst the general public until about the mid-1900s, as artists began to explore new styles and motifs, one of which is popular and well-known, the American traditional style. Here on L28, we've been covering different shops around the city to give you a first-hand look at the artists and their artwork, and this week we'll be focusing on La Familia Tattoo Studios. This studio has several locations, all based in Lancaster, with a team of artists who have specialized skill sets that help bring your tattoo dreams to life. If you're interested in learning more about the studio, you can visit their website at lafamiliatattoostudiosav.com. And to see the full range of talent that their artists have to offer, visit their Instagram, La Familia Tattoo Studio AV.
You know, it's really interesting how they said the first tattoo might have been acupuncture. I know that Japanese old style tattoos isn't it like stick and poke?
Yeah, and I think that's a trend that we're starting to see kind of come back. I've seen a lot of artists on social media
doing that again, right? Bringing it,
yeah, bringing that back, and I think it's a really cool nod to kind of the history of tattoos.
Definitely, but definitely a painful nod. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know if I would do it.
Yeah, it's a nod that comes at personal expense, right? How about yourself? Do you have any tattoos, Jacobo?
I have a few tattoos. I don't know if I could show them on L28, but I think body art is a cool way to express yourself. And I don't have any piercings yet, but I wouldn't say I would get a piercing. But hey, if people want to do it, it's totally open to them.
I think you make a great point. Body art is really a great way to express yourself, just like fashion or dressing or the way we do our hair. But it's also a good way to kind of memorialize, lost loved ones.
Definitely.
And just, our passions and the things that make us unique. So I think it's a really cool way to showcase what we're interested in and what we like and what we love in this life. And, more power to them.
Before we move on, do you have any tattoos, Ryan?
So I technically have one tattoo, but it's 3 words. So I like to tell people I have 3 tattoos.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much all I got.
Nice.
And the weird thing about tattoos sometimes is that when that needle is kind of it could be on like your arm, for example, but since your nerves are all connected, you can actually be feeling on like a totally different part of your leg, which is kind of a freaky experience, right?
This is true. I've felt that before.
Yeah. I remember when it was like near my chest, I was actually feeling like the sensation in my neck and back.
You feel a little twitch or something? You're like, what is that? Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. So glad you can join us today. When we come back from the commercial break, we've got Andrew Frieder Creative Space at the MOAH CEDAR, as well as a brief history of the Lancaster Performing Arts Center.
Thank you for tuning in to L28. The remainder of our episode will explore the MOAH CEDAR's free creative space and brief history and highlight of the Boulevard's Lancaster Performing Arts Center. Opened in 2015, the MOAH CEDAR provides its guests with a free space to tap into their creative side with the Andrew Frieder Creative Space. Andrew Frieder was an artist who, quote, discovered his artistic voice here in Lancaster and wanted to create a space that allowed people to do the same. A frequent visitor to the Museum of Art and History, he's quoted as saying, "Creation itself is perhaps as important as the finished product." Frieder believes that creating art provides therapeutic qualities that everyone should be able to experience. Frieder's most productive years were spent here in the Antelope Valley as he created art using different mediums, including painting, drawings, printmaking, collages, haberdashery, and cobbling, all of which can be seen on his website, andrewfrieder.com. The studio at the Creative Space belonged to the late artist and was donated to the museum by the Frieder family, who provided generous donations in order to create this space. The MOAH CEDAR is happy to announce the space's reopening in the West Gallery of the museum and provides its guests with a variety of art supplies that have been donated by community members, some of which include acrylic paint, ceramic molds, clay modeling tools, small canvas panels, small chalkboards, oil pastels, watercolor sets, and many more. This free creative space helps bring art engagement to the community, allowing visitors to develop or further hone their artistic skill with the necessary tools, materials, and guidance to do so. A trip down to the MOAH CEDAR can be an enriching one, as the exhibits on display are unique and eye-catching. The craftsmanship from the artist can be easily recognized thanks to the staff that help bring the art to life and further add to the magic of the Andrew Frieder Creative Space. Benefits to visiting the creative space and making art can help develop cognitive skills. Drawing, painting, and making collages teach children about the world around them through colors, shapes, and sizes of objects. Mediums like paints, glue, and markers teach children planning, experimenting, and problem solving. And even paint mixing can help with learning about cause and effect. Art is a great form of self-expression, and for children, this can be an outlet for feelings, thoughts, or emotions that can't be put into words. Creating artwork by finger painting, cutting materials, weaving yarn, and drawing with crayons and markers helps strengthen the muscles in our hands, which helps further develop motor skills needed for writing. For children, it's not the completion of the work of art that's important, but rather the process, as there is a world full of experimenting, discovery, and exploration that can occur. If you'd like to take a visit to the Andrew Frieder Creative Space, visit the MOAH CEDAR during their hours of operation, which you can easily find on their website, moahcedar.org, or give them a call at 661-723-6250 to learn more.
It's really cool to see all the things that the MOAH CEDAR is providing to the local community. Not only are they providing this free art space, but also like the concert series.
Yeah.
That's something that I'm really excited about, just getting a chance to see new up and coming bands and just getting exposed to different music.
And I'm glad you bring that up because I was able to report on the opening of MOAH CEDAR's concert series. And I mean, I've never seen another concert venue provide not only a free show to the guests, but also free water, free coffee, free snacks. So I mean, literally all you have to do is show up.
Show up and have a good time, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Lancaster's downtown district has been the Antelope Valley's hotspot for major cultural events since the late 1800s, especially for those who take a trip to the Boulevard. There's the MOAH CEDAR, which houses unique exhibits from artists and residents, the Pretty Little Poppy Marketplace, Lancaster's permanent pop-up shop, which showcases a variety of various vendors, most of which who are owned by women, and the Lancaster Performing Arts Center, or the LPAC for short, that brings in names like Rob Schneider, Pam Tillis, and Lori Morgan of Grits and Glamour. There are also theatrical performances which include Rumpelstiltskin performed by Missoula Children's Theater and Grimm's Fairy Tales performed by Robin Klinger Entertainment. There's even a stunt dog experience brought to you by Chris Perrondi for a night full of fun and entertainment. The Lancaster City Council voted to build a cultural center in the city during 1989, and in 1991, the Lancaster Performing Arts Center opened its doors to the community and performers alike. Currently celebrating its 31st season of shows. Since then, the LPAC has the honor of being the largest performing arts facility in the Antelope Valley. The LPAC has stayed true to its mission for the past 3 decades as it continues to bring quality and engaging performances to its visitors, works to support and strengthen the community by embracing the Antelope Valley's vast culture and diversity, and supporting the economic vitality within our city. Along with the LPAC, the Lancaster Performing Arts Center Foundation was also created. The purpose of this foundation was to provide monetary support for the Arts for Youth program, and to provide enhancements and upgrades to the LPAC facility and performances. This foundation, in collaboration with the LPAC, has helped to make it possible for thousands of students to experience their first ever musical, dance, and theatrical performances in a theater space. The LPAC Foundation also supports students outside of the facility as well with their Performing Arts Scholarship Program. This program grants high school seniors looking to pursue a degree within the performing arts field a chance to be awarded $5,000, a further testament to the Foundation's mission to aid in making the dreams of pursuing higher education for young, talented minds come true. The LPAC Foundation uses fundraising efforts and welcomes the community to donate, as the financial support from the donors is used to sustain the excellence of performances through purchasing stage equipment and even buys tickets for students. So if you're interested in attending a performance at the Lancaster Performing Arts Center, you can visit their website at lpac.org to see ticket prices and dates for upcoming shows and events. And if you're looking for something to do after the show, stop by Zelda 750 West, which is conveniently located on the west wing of the LPAC, and grab a drink or a bite to eat.
Well, thank you for tuning in to the City of Lancaster's news. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Jacobo, and this has been
L28 News.